Does durian actually smell, or is that just a myth that's made up on social media? Well, we're about to find out as we visit Kuala Lumpur. It's culturally diverse, it's got great food, amazing architecture, nature, people. What's not to like in the most visited city in Southeast Asia? So join me as I'm not in Dubai for once and explore the must-do parts of KL, the historical stuff, the weird stuff, and the spiritual stuff. Let's go. So let's start in somewhere that I was convinced by every YouTube video that I'd ever watched about Kuala Lumpur to stay in. Most people will suggest for you to stay in Bukit Bintang. This is KL's shopping and entertainment capital, but it's also the centre of a neon-centric and futuristic kind of vibe. I mean, when I saw this for the first time, I was blown away by this. This was more futuristic and cyberpunk than Japan. And that's me saying that, and I've been to Japan twice. Bukit Bintang is a good place to stay because it's close to the absolute centre of Kuala Lumpur. The best shopping experiences at Pavilion, Uniqlo, and some good hotels and hostels are based in this area. The nightlife is good also, but it's mostly known for having the most popular night market, Jalan Alor, where you'll expect me to say that this is awesome, but no. The thing is, Jalan Alor is busy, it's really popular, but it's wildly crowded and full of tourists. I'm actually getting a bit of PTSD from the Kyoto episode. Anthony Bourdain once said that you should only go where locals go to eat, not where tourists are sent. In fact, according to a local that I actually spoke to, Bukit Bintang's popularity only rose after COVID when they turned this place into a tourist hotspot, leading to the popularity of places like Jalan Alor. But importantly, no locals are dining there as well. It's just full of tourists. You can go there to have food, but it's likely that you're going to have a mediocre meal and pay an extortionate price for it. So this is a rocky start to an episode, but I'm stating the obvious here. Don't do what I did and start at Bukit Bintang, but I'll suggest where else to stay. So I got this epiphany when I spent most of my first day wandering down from my hotel to one of Kuala Lumpur's most popular districts, where we're going to find some hidden gems. Chinatown is historical, as well as popular with tourists, but look hard enough and you'll find some hidden gems that stand out. For some of the mornings, I came to Chinatown for breakfast. One of the most popular places, which has a table ticketing system, is Ho Khao Hai Nam Kopitiam. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. This was always really busy, and reviewers say that it's a breakfast that you'll never forget. But you know me, it's breakfast time. I shouldn't really have to wait any longer than 10 minutes for breakfast, never mind wait for a table. Otherwise, I went to 7-Eleven. But round the corner is this bizarre Tudor looking house, which is also a Kopitiam. This is Café Dian, another popular breakfast spot that serves mostly halal foods, but is operating in a building that's over 100 years old, built by the British during the colonisation of British Malaya. It served as a local post office, as you can see that in some of its aesthetics on the inside. This is a really nice place to come for breakfast, and not only that, it has really good food. This was nasi lemak. This is a popular breakfast item in Malaysia. It's nutty, it's spicy, full of umami, that really sets you up for the day. Also, do not miss out on this treat. This is kaya toast. You're given toast in the shape of pan bread that's also served with margarine and kaya. This is made using pandan leaves and coconut. This is honestly my favourite thing about Southeast Asia. But what shocked me the most was the price for all of this. Your main breakfast, including a side serving of toast and a drink, only set me back between 25 to 30 Malaysian ringgit. That's about £5 British. Now that you're set up for the day, do peruse the aesthetics and the ugly prettiness of Chinatown, with cameos from attention-seeking buildings. Chinatown is also popular for having its own market as well, called Jalan Petaling. Similar in busyness and popularity to Bukit Bintang, you can get food and souvenirs and haggle aggressively. Or if you're not into that and you want something a bit more historical, and to pick up something actually tasteful, you could visit Central Market, or locally known as Pasar Seni. Again, another British Malaya thing. It was originally a wet market until the facade was transformed into this Art Deco building, which is now a place for visitors to pick up artisanal and creative craft items. Tasteful touristy tap to you and me. And I have to say, this did not disappoint. I was able to find the best fridge magnets in KL right now. Designed by Key Ceramics, these ceramic fridge magnets, which are 10 times better than the tap that you get from tourist markets. Central Market is a bit more appealing to the global visitor. But if you're like me and you want something a bit more arty, then let's stay in Chinatown and let's go to REXKL. This place is so underrated in my opinion. It's got little thrift stores, record stores, and a sick library up the stairs. I'm sorry, this is the best library I've ever seen, and I don't read. The library is also behind what appears to be a theatre, which is really cool. It's an immersive arts experience that showcases some of Kuala Lumpur's emerging artists. There's also some crafty wares as well. Downstairs is also a licensed food court with some amazing food options. But around the sides is where you're going to get some amazing photos of the building and the surrounding buildings. Without sounding cringe, this is an actual hidden gem. Please do not skip this on your next trip to Kuala Lumpur. Also, I should mention that Chinatown has quite a few hotels, and it also has quite a lot of hostels for people who want to bunk or indeed have low budgets. And it's actually a really good place to stay because there's an MRT and LRT station nearby. But sometimes your trip is dictated by what social media tells you and what Google or ChatGPT says, like Bukit Bintang. I'm feeling a bit cheated at this point because I feel like Bukit Bintang is not giving me that full experience. I got more out of Chinatown than I did at Bukit Bintang, especially when it came to food options. So instead of visiting Jalan Alor for food, I took myself on a culinary tour, which surprised me so much that I still think about it to this day. We're now at New Village, or locally known as Kampung Baru. This is a low-rise and untapped district in the centre of Kuala Lumpur. What you need to know is that Kampung Baru's architecture and residential buildings are original to KL before the city was modernised. The reason I came here was because I wanted to try the foods in Malaysia that I didn't otherwise have the confidence to do myself. I'm still learning. I'll get better at it. In fact, our tour guide, Adil, was excellent. I'll leave a link to his tour in the description. But there was one food item that I came to Kuala Lumpur to try. No, it's not nasi goreng and it's not nasi lemak, even though I had that this morning. It's a burger. A Ramly burger. The thing is, I only learned about this on a YouTube challenge from Joshua Weissman, and I was like, I have to try that, and I was able to. But I was able to watch it being made from scratch, without any interruptions or hundreds of people doing the same thing. Ramly burgers were an invention by someone who wanted to bring burgers to the streets of KL. But after many failed attempts to try and get funding for his own restaurant, he just decided to use all the stock that he bought to put it in a food truck. And then that caught on by other vendors across Kuala Lumpur. It's simply this. It's a burger van patty with a bit of a kick, wrapped in an omelette. Yep, it's wrapped in an omelette, given a mystery Maggi sauce, topped with shallots, chili sauce, other mystery sauces, and then crowned with a potato bun. It's a culinary street food masterpiece. Please try. Now, thankfully, Kampung Baru is still frequented by locals who maintain its authenticity in the food and cultural scene. This is why tours like Adil's help for us to get a contextual understanding and to try Malaysian food at its best. We also tried other foods on this trip, which are more native and enjoyed by locals, including more nasi lemak. I can't get tired of this stuff. But most importantly, Durian, the king of fruits. Now, let's talk about this guy real quick. Durian is not only fruit royalty, but it's also the house of all fruits. It has a novelty to it which intrigues foreigners, that it has a smell that can only be described as putrid. Some people have said that it smells like old shoes, rotting flesh, garlic. It stinks. And apparently the smell can linger for weeks. In fact, hotels ban you from bringing any of it into your hotel room. Failure to comply results in a hefty fine. Now, I'm not going to lie, most of us signed up to the tour to try durian because that was what was advertised. But we also got an explanation as to why everyone on social media talks bullshit. Producing durian is a labour-intensive process. It isn't easy. When it falls from the trees, it can crack open, meaning that it must be eaten or sold within the first 2 days. But ideally, that's when it's most fresh and delicious, and it doesn't smell of anything. The reason why durian smells awful is because it's been left out for ages once it's been cracked open. That's why it stinks. This clearly devoured durian was fresh from only a day ago, and it was delicious, custardy, Moorish. Myth debunked. Like and subscribe. But I wouldn't have known about this if I hadn't taken this tour, or indeed spoken to locals that give you that perspective. But in all seriousness, this was definitely an enlightening experience. But what's really jarring is the difference between how preserved Kampung Baru is compared to the huge metropolis of Kuala Lumpur. In fact, from Kampung Baru, this is the best place to visit KLCC, or Kuala Lumpur City Centre. You'll be able to cross the Saloma link bridge. You'll get a pretty decent photo, but do be aware of these guys that wander about who want to take your photograph. They had these very elaborate photo-taking apparatus. Just say no politely. But anyway, as you walk through, you're met with what is, in my opinion, the best buildings in the world. But the ground experience is very different. It's just full of people doing photo shoots. I feel really sorry for the camera guys, and for some reason, everybody was up all night, raving. Yeah, I don't recommend going up that street if you have photosensitive epilepsy. Yep, KLCC's kind of the sight at night. But let's flip the light switch. It's just as enormous during the day. Oh, but guess what? With all big buildings, there's a mall in it. But also, there's a park on the other side of the buildings, which is called KLCC Park. Now, we've experienced some of the most popular places with some of the most underrated. Now, if you want to keep exploring, be sure to check out some of the other cultural parts that make up Kuala Lumpur. There's actually a tourist trail that's dedicated to British Malaya times. It's called the Colonial Trail, but also check out Merdeka Square, which is actually a good time to tell you a fun fact about KL's tallest building, Merdeka 118. The building isn't open yet, but its design apparently reflects the pose depicted here, which is interesting because I thought they were cheating a little bit to make it the world's third tallest building. But turns out it's actually based on this pose, so yeah, that's a fun fact for you. Just a short walk from here is also the National Mosque of Malaysia. On this channel, we've been to quite a few now, so may as well add this one to the list. Along with that, there is the Museum of Islamic Art, and it's really popular with visitors to Malaysia. But you can check out the planetarium, or if you really want to go mental, the KL Bird Park. This is actually way more thrilling than it sounded. Just watch these clips.
Don't worry, it's a pelican.
So that was fun. I think if you're finding KL a bit claustrophobic or indeed crowded, a breakaway to the bird park is really fun, but it's also a little bit stressy. Let's just make that very clear. But once you do it, you'll thank yourself for it. Now, as with every video on this channel, there are tons of things to do in Kuala Lumpur that I simply just didn't have enough time to go around. But at least you can have the main points of where I believe you'll get the most out of Kuala Lumpur. But we're not done yet. We're going to head north to somewhere very peaceful. This is the Batu Caves. Multiple temples carved into a mountain. Sounds mental, doesn't it? And by the way, it's free, it's not ticketed. It's very peaceful. Yep, the Batu Caves are not only spiritually invigorating, but also completely mad at the same time. You're going to come away from this place either engaged with God or wishing that you scrapped with a monkey because you liked your GoPro too much that he took it from you. Don't worry, this didn't actually happen. No monkeys or primates were hurt during this production. Don't get me wrong, however, this is actually beautiful. Be sure to arrive early and not later. It gets way too busy, and I can only imagine that the monkeys get more aggressive as the day progresses. Some of the cool features around here are this tall statue, which is the tallest in Southeast Asia, and these colourful steps, which you can walk up to the top. Let's just say you need to be fit and not in a wheelchair. To be fair, when you get to the top, you'll be rewarded with this. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I do take interest in the settings and embellishments of temples, mosques and chapels. This is by far an elaborate temple in the middle of a mountain where there's primates and chickens, and then you have to negotiate trying to get back down those stairs, which is an experience itself with the tourists and the nuisance monkeys. And with that beautiful but rather stressful scene, that brings us to the end of our visit to Kuala Lumpur. So my thoughts on KL is that it's visually cool, it's affordable, and it's energetic. People are nice to you. It's culturally fluid, and it's very easy to navigate and familiarise yourself with the place. From Tudor style buildings, secret libraries, spiritual caves, and house monkeys, and food that kills every assumption any YouTuber could ever tell you. But overall, you're watching the video because you want to travel better. I would not stay in Bukit Bintang. I would probably just go there for the shopping experiences and the nightlife, but that's about it. I would actually strongly recommend staying in Little India or Brickfields. There's some really nice hotels out there, and I actually looked at those before and I wish I did. It's also really close to KL Central, which gives you more access to places in and around Kuala Lumpur that's further out. And of course Chinatown for the more budget-conscious traveller. So if you want help on how to find different perspectives on popular cities, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Your support and kind words so far has helped me change my perspective on my travels and work harder to find the parts and places that you should visit to make the most out of your trip. and to tell better stories to your family, yourself, and your friends. So make sure that you're subscribed, because in the next episode, I travel to somewhere that every YouTuber has called it the most boring place on earth, and to think twice about visiting. So thanks again, everyone. Don't fight monkeys, and I'll see you somewhere new.